How's it going, everyone? It's Ben Falcons Media Corner back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to the movie review, aka After I Saw review video for today. This time for this new episode for this series, this is going to be my review on the 2022 sci-fi body horror film, and that is Crimes of the Future. This was written and directed by David Cronenberg, who is well known for making these kind of films, which he made Scanners and The Fly, the 1986 film, and he's also well known for making gangster films such as A History of Violence and Eastern Promises. So he's come back to make a new film, which is in the body horror genre, which he hasn't made a movie like this in a while. So he's come back to make a new film of that from that genre, which is this film. And the story of the film is that we follow this performance artist named Saul Tenser, played by Viggo Mortensen, who grows new organs in his body and showcases their removal in front of an audience, along with his partner named Caprice, played by Léa Seydoux. But things get complicated once they catch the eye of this young journalist named Timlin, played by Kristen Stewart, who starts to know every single movement of what both Saul and Caprice are doing and all that, from showcasing the removal of the organs from the bodies. So that's pretty much the story of Crimes of the Future. Now, I was really interested in seeing this one because this was a new film by David Cronenberg, and when it comes to his films, he's made so many iconic films for his career, namely body horror films such as Scanners and The Fly from 1986. Well, I've never seen Scanners before, but I thought that's supposed to be one of the best body horror films. But I have seen The Fly from 86, and I think it's a great body horror film. And also, Cronenberg has also made gangster films, namely History of Violence and Eastern Promises and so on, which I really enjoyed those ones. And so when I heard he was making a new film, which was this one, like I said, I was really interested in seeing this one. And also I found out this was a body horror film. And from what I've read, this was the first time in like over a few years that he hasn't made a movie like this in a while, because most recent years he's made like crime gangster drama films, which some of them have been pretty good, but some ones I've heard, but I have not seen, but from what I've heard, they haven't been on the exact same level like those other films I mentioned before that are pretty good. But still, though, I was really looking forward to seeing what he was going to do for this film. And also, what really interested me the most to see this film was the cast. You've got some talented names in the film, namely the big three actors in the film, which are Viggo Mortensen from the Lord of the Rings trilogy and Green Book and other movies. And he has done a few films with Cronenberg, namely History of Violence and Eastern Promises. And you also have Léa Seydoux, who is in the last few Bond films, Spectre, No Time to Die, and a few other movies. And you also have Kristen Stewart, who, over the last few years, after the whole Twilight phenomenon, she has gotten better at her acting skills, namely which I can definitely say is her best performance to date, which was her last film before she did this, which was Spencer, which she played Princess Diana, and I thought she was amazing in that movie. And once I saw the trailer for this film, this one, like I said, did look interesting from the way it looked and what kind of film this was. And I started hearing a few people's reviews of this film back then, because this was first released in June in the US, but we didn't get this film until September. And from what I've heard, it did receive some good reviews, but from what I've heard, it played at a few film festivals and it received a few walkouts. Like, some people walked out over for the first 50 minutes of the film due to the content and then all that, and they kind of found it boring, which I found that pretty strange and all that. But still, I was really interested in seeing this one, so I went to see this the day it was released back in September. And unfortunately for my screening, it really wasn't much of a full house, but there was a few amount of people in my screening. And after watching this whole thing, I thought this was a great watch here from beginning to end, but I wouldn't say this is definitely David Cronenberg's best film in the whole body genre here, because I would say this is probably his weakest film, but this still is a great film here, you guys. But there are some stuff to take out of this new Cronenberg flick here, like the acting in the film. I thought everyone was great in the film, specifically the three main leads in the movie, Viggo Mortensen, Léa Seydoux, and Kristen Stewart. They were all great together in this film. And I liked what they're given for their character development, which they pretty much give heart and soul to the characters in the film, which I did like in the film. And the other actors in the film who played like the secondary characters in the film, I thought they were pretty good for the most part. But I kind of felt the character development could have, like, I kind of wish the character development for this film, I kind of felt like they could have been given more to them to basically make me understand what their goal is for the film. Because while I was watching the film, there are moments in the film where I don't even know what they're trying to do and all that, which I kind of felt distracting and all that. But still, though, the acting's good in the film. And I like the world of this film, which is, like I said, it's a futuristic world, which I did find it pretty intriguing for the most part. And I liked how it's showcasing like what people feel through like their bodies, their insecurities, and pain and torture and all that, which I did like in the film, and I did really dig out while I was watching it. And it mostly involves the main character in the film, which I really did find that myself digging out of while I was watching the movie. And the direction by Cronenberg looks pretty nice. I mean, it's a beautiful. There are some beautiful shots in the film, for there are moments where it's outside of its body horror, where it captures some great shots with its sets and all that kind of stuff in the futuristic world and all that. And of course, when it comes to its, its body horror, the bloody, gory images, it is pretty horrifying and sickening at the same time. And for those who don't have the stomach for it, you're probably gonna have a little bit of vomit in your mouth while you watch the film. And from what I've heard, like from when it came to those moments, people did walk out during this film. And another reason why I also heard that people did walk out of this film, they just felt it was like they just found the film boring and all that. But for me, when it came to those moments, luckily I didn't feel disturbed or anything like that, and I didn't like have a weak stomach or anything like that. Like there wasn't a time where I was like I should stop eating my popcorn and just wait for that moment to be over and done with, so I can just get back to eating and while I was watching the film, because I'm used to that kind of stuff, because I've seen some like gory horror films and all that, and we've had some pretty crazy gory horror films this year and all that. And for its story for the film, I kind of felt there was a lack of intrigue, and I kind of felt it was a bit tamed and all that. Where there were some elements where I felt like what Cronenberg was trying to go for, and I could have, but it just felt like it didn't add. It just didn't feel like it added anything for what Cronenberg was trying to go for or anything like that, which I kind of found was a bit distracting. And there were some moments in the film which I found myself less invested with, even though I did find the story pretty interesting. But there are some moments where it took me off guard and all that, for scenes I didn't find myself interested with. And there are some pacing issues and all that, because I did find some scenes in the film pretty draggy and all that. Even though it's not a slow burn film, it's only an hour and 47 minutes though, but it is worth the time. But again, I just felt some scenes in the film do tend to drag on and all that. But in the end, guys, Crimes in the Future, this was a great Cronenberg flick, yeah. But I wouldn't say this is his best body horror film or anything like that, since The Fly or anything at all, really. But if you're a fan of like these kind of films, like body horror films, or you're a fan of the director David Cronenberg, or you're a fan of the cast, like Viggo Mortensen, Léa Seydoux, Kristen Stewart, this one would probably be a good one for yourselves to watch. And if you miss a chance to see this in cinemas, it is available to stream on any app of your choice. So that's pretty much all I say about Crimes of the Future. I'm gonna give Crimes of the Future 4 out of 5. Again, as I said before, this is definitely not Cronenberg's best flick or anything like that, and it's definitely not his worst flick here. This still is a great watch, but again, I wouldn't say it's his best body horror film like that. It's probably his weakest when it comes to these films he's made, but this still is a great watch here, and despite having a few flaws I have with this one, I still managed to have a great time with this one. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my ACAF or a SOAR review on Crimes of the Future, and let me know what you think of this film. If you have seen this already, if you just recently checked out this film, did you have a great time with this, or was this not really a popcorn treat? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Falcons Media Corner signing off.